glad you made it.
Why, thank you. I'm glad I made it too. It has been a wild day.
Yeah?
Yes, it has. I should show you the track of my flight from Minneapolis to Indianapolis.
Wait a minute. From Minneapolis?
I saw
From
that
Minneapolis.
on Facebook.
I get on Salt Lake fine, flight's fine. We get in just fine in Minneapolis, and we get on the plane. Oh, everything is just hunky dunky, and then we're past St. Louis and somewhere deep in Missouri somewhere, as there's some thunderstorm that has reached out of the north and has extended into the Gulf somewhere. So we flew south forever trying to get around this thing. Turned the corner. I took a picture on it. You can find it on Facebook of the route. It looks like pioneers winding their way through the mountains in search of El Dorado and not finding it. So
If you don't add it to Skylanders, then there's something wrong.
Oh my gosh.
Wonder effects.
Yeah.
But we got in, and we were able to get a lift within like 20 minutes, which was pretty good, especially here right now.
Yeah.
And then we came in, and of course I went to go. Before you can get your badge, you have to have your vax.
Oh.
Yeah, well.
You're not
It's on the other
attending.
wrist.
Yeah, I'm not.
So,
I
so
am
yes,
vaccinated.
and I looked at the map and I thought, wow, you know what? It's just across the sky bridge from the hotel. We'll just walk over there, get it done, so we won't have to worry about it in the morning. Good thing. And the line went. It went
Clear back to Salt Lake.
It did. I was back in Salt Lake. And I thought, why did I bother with the plane?
We have found that, and I'm surprised that they didn't tell you, you could go to special services and they'll give you one. They'll hand you one.
So anyway, no, I'm just glad to be here.
What do you mean why didn't I tell him that? He wasn't looking for special services.
I wasn't looking for special services. I was, I could have. I mean, I did use special services getting out here because walking the length of airports is very hard for me right now. So it was very nice. I was able to, I had nice people to push me through the airport, and that helped considerably. And it's a good thing I did, because when I got here, it was a hike. I got all my steps in.
Good job.
Yeah.
Got them done for the weekend.
Yeah, the entire weekend. Yeah. Yeah, I'd even actually looked into, the idea of like just renting a scooter just in case I needed it to get around on. None to be had.
Really?
There's just none to be had. So I mean, there's a lot of people at this convention.
Yes.
Yes, a lot of masked men and masked women, of course.
Yep.
Well, here I am.
You made it.
I know, and I can't stay terribly long because, unfortunately,
You have to get up.
because I have to get up at I have an event at like 7 in the morning that I have to get to.
It's for this book, isn't it?
It is. It's for this very same book.
It's almost like he's talked about this or something. The Dragons of Deceit Dragonlance book. Oh yeah. Tell us about it.
So sweet.
Yeah.
Have we introduced ourselves yet?
No.
Okay.
No, not
Should we-
really. We
is
just
that-
kind
should we
of
turn the
walked into it.
podcast or
Look,
anything?
if they're listening to this podcast, they know who we are.
That's exactly
That's fair. That's completely
Do
fair.
they really need a bumper on the front of this?
Josh can just play the intro.
We can do it in
Just play
post.
these right
Yeah,
now.
we do it in
This-
post.
We're doing post.
It'll be all right. We'll do it in post.
Sarah's waiting
We
on the
usually
music
say
to
we fix
finish.
it in post, but I know that's not going to happen.
new.
No, that's not going to
Nothing
happen.
to fix.
Have you
This is
listened to this
perfect.
podcast at all?
That's right. That's why we do this. No, it's tomorrow morning. We're actually doing something very exciting. It's something that hasn't been done before, and so I like doing new things. So we have an event tomorrow morning that is the unboxing, Dragonlance, Dragons of Deceit, new Weiss and Hickman Dragonlance novel unboxing, and everybody who bought this ticket, and I actually convinced everybody to buy a ticket for $30 to an event at GenCon. GenCon, by the way, was quite impressed with that. And everybody that comes to the event in the morning, as part of their ticket price, gets a first edition Dragons of Deceit hardback.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Some of the first that are out there, and certainly the first that'll get the opportunity to be signed by Margaret and I. So everybody gets to come in the morning. We're going to check that we believe electronic ticketing will work. We clap for the ferry for a week now, and get everybody in. We've got Margaret's going to be there. We've got a special message from our friend Joe Manganello, and who sadly couldn't be here. He had wanted really to come help us launch this, but his schedule just wouldn't permit it. And then and Margaret and I will be there. We're going to talk about the book, give some insights into the development of the book. Going to do a little reading. We're going to answer everybody's questions, and everybody that comes to the event actually gets an extra special something that from attending the event in the morning.
Are
you going, Josh?
I'm not. I didn't pull it off because we're gonna get a babysitter till 9 a.m. So I wasn't gonna be able to make it.
Yeah. Well, we'll tell you about it.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, we have a friend of ours here in the room that none of you can see, Frank, who is going to the
Hi, Frank.
event.
Oh,
He's going
awesome.
tomorrow.
Cover it for us, Frank.
That's right.
Cover it for us.
I'll find you in the hall. We'll get an exclusive.
Yeah, I'm really excited to get together with our friends because they really very much are family. Our fans are very much family to us. This book was actually written for them, cool. and to a certain extent because of them. And we fought hard to get this book to them. So we're very excited about tomorrow morning. It's very much a celebration for us. And looking forward in the exhibit hall to clogging all of the alleys.
That's right.
Yeah, with people to get their signatures on the book.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know where your booth is in the exhibit hall?
I think it's 1628, 29.
Okay.
Yeah, somewhere in there. We're on the main cross avenue. I don't know. Yeah,
Aisle, like the big lane.
Sure.
Yeah, the big
Aisle?
lane. Aisle. I don't know.
Well,
Aisle.
they have a name like the Hoosier Corridor and all these different things, but it also goes through into the main hall. I think is what it's referring to.
Yeah, you can probably use Google Maps on it because
It's a big hall this year.
It's a big hall this year.
Yeah.
I will be signing there. I'll also be doing some signings in the Taylor Corp booth with Howard Taylor and Jim Zubkovich, good friends of mine. We've got also, in addition to the Dragons of Deceit, of course, we've also got the second edition XDM book that's just come out.
It's almost like I was slightly prepared.
You would. That was it. I love the whole visual aids thing we've got going here. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Extreme Dungeon Mastery. I know you've spoken very highly of that. And what is Extreme Dungeon
Yes, I
Mastery?
have praised it considerably since it's my book.
You do that with all your books, though.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But
No,
what makes your Dungeon Mastery extreme?
that we get out of the humdrum of the game. That we go beyond the numbers and the charts and the tables and move to the essence of the game for me, which is the role play and the communal aspect, the social aspect of it. That's the thing I think that I've always felt XDM was all about. It's extreme dungeon mastery, but for me it's going beyond just the tables and the numbers, and to a certain extent beyond the tropes. Mm-hmm. I like that very much. In fact, my wife and I are right now writing a 5e campaign called Sky Raiders of Abarox. Mm-hmm. And we kickstarted this last year.
I was just about to say, I saw a bunch of stuff with the advertisement and stuff through my Facebook feed and Kickstarter stuff and
we're still doing late pledge right now. So if people want to get in on that, please join us.
Yeah, join me.
Yeah, I was
Yes.
gonna talk about the dice and the dice rolling apparatus is like a living scroll. So it's actually part of the game. It's not just a thing you have on the table.
And not only does it have, I mean, I love the scroll, frankly, because not only does it have a map of that portion of the world on the back that is directly usable, but on the inside it's also got rune figures on the interior of the scroll. The ends of the scroll are great because they're designed specifically to hold dice and miniatures. So you can just roll up the scroll and go, right?
Very cool.
But the thing I love about one of the many things I love about Sky Raiders is that we are developing an app called the Living Tome, and the Living Tome allows you to look through your device, your smartphone or device, at the books themselves and at the scroll itself, and so the runes represent different types of information that you might get. And all of this is connected to the Sky Master, the GM for the game. And so the GM can, instead of, I always hated it when, the GM said, well, okay, your intelligence is like 12, so you know this, and his intelligence is like 3, so he does not know this, but you know
Fact.
this. And now that this table talk, right, that just pulls you out of the moment. Mm-hmm. We're designing this Living Tome app. We're working actually with Digital Anvil. Excuse me, not Digital Anvil. Sorry. Digital Anvil, wherever you are, it's not you. I can hear the president of Digital Anvil saying, what the hell am I working with?
If there is not a digital
Who made this
anvil,
contract?
someone will steal that.
No,
IP
actually, no,
right
we're
now.
working with World Anvil.
That's what I thought.
And
yeah.
World Anvil is, I've really enjoyed working with them. They're wonderful people, and they are
good system.
enabling us now to do our development on World Anvil, and then that development will integrate directly with, through an
That's
API.
very cool.
It integrates directly with the Living Tome app. So in the process of the game now, the game master can push information to specific players. And some of that information is automated. So if you happen to have come from that region, you will know, what this is. If you've been to these ruins before, you can, I know about this bridge. I know what happened at this bridge. There was this incident at the bridge. And you can bring that to the table directly rather than, all this table talk.
So
And so,
interesting.
yeah. If your character is cursed, you're the only one who knows it, right? And so the information that goes out is actually specific to you in the game. You'll be able to use the tome on maps, and your character will know parts of the map that the other characters do not.
To encourage talking.
To
amongst
encourage
each
talk over the table.
Communication.
The entire system that we're designing here, it's an AR system. I mean, you'll literally be able to look into our books through the app and see new information and new things on the maps that everybody else doesn't know. And yes, click on it and expand it and get that information. If you come from Haven, yeah, you kind of know your way around Haven. You know where the places are and who's in charge, and you'll be able to communicate that to the table, or not.
Right.
Decision.
And so the entire app is designed as an evolutionary step in our play.
Cool.
To not to replace the table with. We don't want everybody sitting around looking at their screens. We have enough of that now. Mm-hmm. But to augment the play at the table, it's designed to focus the play with each other around the table.
Well, it sounds like an excellent player aid, and that's something like, I've been playing since I was a young guy, and I know you've been writing for quite a while as well.
Since you were a young guy.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So, to see that the development of technology over time and how it's affected the gaming world that we all, enjoy has been a very interesting thing, because this wasn't possible in the 80s, the 90s. Like, this is something
although to be
new.
truthful, we talked about it at
Sure.
the time. I mean, we talked about things like, having sound effects in our games and have a device that could, sound effects. But if we were doing sound effects in the 80s, it was
8-bit noise.
I'm sorry, I'm doing my best to
No, it's your- I
mimic
completely
Dark
understand.
Tower back in the ancient times.
Getting ready to bring his theremin out.
Yeah.
But it is very cool to see how technology is impacting, the gaming, and not poorly impacting it, but for the betterment of getting into the game and communicating between characters and people and players at a table.
There's been a wonderful resurgence in D&D
Yeah.
over the last few years, and that's all been for the good, I think. And there's been a lot of. It's also been interesting for me to see 5e in particular be required to evolve,
Yeah.
and I'm all for that because I believe that. I don't. I personally, I know we're apolitical.
Yeah, it's okay.
But I personally believe that we need to forgive our past. The people in the 30s and the 40s and the 50s and 60s, for that matter, were of a different time.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a different mindset and a different framework to work in, some of which would be abhorrent today. But I think we need to forgive ourselves that and say they didn't know any better back then. We do, and therefore we should behave and function to a different standard. Not hold our past to that standard.
Certainly.
But we should evolve, and I think D&D has evolved and is evolving. I keep going back to Sky Raiders just because I'm so excited about it as a game. We've moved away from race, which I have come to believe is a construct. It's something we impose as a construct. It doesn't actually exist.
We're all one race of man.
We're all one race of man, and we all bleed the same. And I mean, and truthfully, I mean, in terms of genetics, the difference between individuals is so slight, no matter where you are in the world, as to be irrelevant. So I wanted to get away from that concept, and there were some other ideas that I liked very much, and my wife and I both liked very much. And so we've taken the 5e concept of race, and we've actually split it into two with our own take, which we're using ancestry, your genetics of your forefathers, and foremothers for that matter.
Four mothers?
Well, no, just one.
Oh, just the one.
Yeah, no, we're not going to get into that. Oh, God, semantics. So we have ancestry, which are genetics, and we have culture, where you were raised.
Yep.
Pathfinder 2nd Edition went to Ancestry and Background to handle similar things. So this
Excellent.
is becoming a very popular way to recategorize something that was often used negatively.
Well, and not only that, but it's an improvement in the game.
Yeah.
Because it allows us now to mix cultures with ancestries and to be able to mix these together in new and intriguing ways.
It's also more current anthropological perspective on how our own history developed as well.
Absolutely.
So it's very cool. I mean, D&D has been a game of history in ways, right, of mythology
Yes.
and whatnot. So as we understand more about our mythology and our history, it makes sense that the game would evolve in that understanding as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and I think to that degree, and then to a statement that you had made earlier about forgiving what our past looks like compared to what today looks like. I think it's a very parental role that we take, where I have 3 sons at home, and my job as a dad is not just to nurture them and take care of them, but it's also to teach them that I have made mistakes in my own life, and their grandparents have made mistakes in their lives, and I want them to learn from the mistakes without having to make those same ones. And
Exactly.
I feel like the culture and world of gaming is also translating that at-home desire to want to see the improvement of us as a people, and add that into the fantasy, because I think for all of us, we've all had those very close to the heart opportunities in our gaming life that so closely relate to our own humanity.
Absolutely. I was just reminded this week of something kind of dear to me. When I was, and I've told this story before, but when I was a boy, where I lived, there were no African Americans. There weren't very many people of color at all. And the only African American that I had contact with regularly was Lieutenant Uhura. And she taught me. I was raised in a great household. My parents were very, very forward thinking, and I'm grateful for that. But I very distinctly remember her teaching me it was okay to be different, and that there were beautiful people from every place in the world, and powerful, intelligent, driven people. And she taught me that, of all things, in every week on Star Trek. And years later, it was such an important thing for me. Years and years later, I happened to meet her. I met her at one convention and did not tell her when I had the opportunity, because I was like, oh, God. But then subsequent to that, I found myself at another convention where she was attending, and I made a point of getting up, going over, and telling her that, because it was that important to me.
Yeah.
And Nichelle passed away this week. And I am still grateful to her for opening up my heart to a bigger world. It's something I've carried with me. I do think that D&D is evolving. That the game itself is evolving and reflecting not just who we are, but who we need to become. And I think that D&D is at its best when it helps us, shows us who we should become.
Wow, this is like I hope a lot of people watch this or listen to this podcast. Like, they legit. I
Oh,
agree
come
with
on,
you.
guys. We do this every time
They're
we
the
get
highest
together.
rated.
Yeah.
They're the highest
This
rated
is-
episodes that we have, Jason.
They
They
are.
are.
This
They
is
are.
great. I completely agree.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Okay, so it's been a couple of years since you've been back.
It's been 5 years
In person.
In
in
person.
person, yeah.
What's,
Yeah.
what's
yeah, 'cause
that
we did a virtual with him about a year
mean to
ago.
you now? Since it, I mean,
I remember.
it's- we call it a family reunion,
Yeah.
right? What is that like for you since you've been gone for a while?
You know, I don't know yet, because I just managed somehow to land here late this afternoon, and it was interesting because we were on the plane, and of course, if I'm flying from Minneapolis to Indianapolis, that's a lot of Appleses, by the way.
Yep.
But if I'm flying to Minneapolis or to Indianapolis, it's likely full of convention goers, especially today.
Yeah.
So we're sitting on the plane, and we're sitting next to this young woman, and she was very excited to be coming to GenCon. It's her first GenCon.
Oh, nice.
Very
She
cool.
was so thrilled. Her friends said, "Well, you've got to come to it with us," and they've shanghaied her here, and she's just so excited. She's been playing D&D for 2 whole years now, and yes, and she's DM'd, and she just loves doing.
That's pretty good
That's a
for
big
2
step for
years.
you.
dude.
Yeah, right.
That's really good.
Yeah, I know. I said, well, "Where's your certificate?" Okay, so here's the thing. She has absolutely no idea who I am.
Mm-hmm.
My name is a complete blank to her. And quite likely, she'll go through this entire convention and go home and have no idea that we spoke, right? And her friends most likely will have no idea that we spoke. My mind will probably change tomorrow morning when we're having the Dragons of Deceit big premiere event, because my guess is people there will probably know who I am.
Solid guess.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But it's
At least one, right? At least one guy.
but we've
My name's in there.
Okay, Lance.
Well, but it's too. It really is too early for me to know. It is very much a home. It is a homecoming to me. But this evening, I'm feeling more like the distant uncle who showed up than a patriarch. There's.
Well, if
there-
that's true, you're our favorite uncle.
Well, thank you. I always
Story
wanted to
time
be
with Uncle
somebody's
Tracy.
favorite uncle.
Yes, no joke. In our Discord, the event, my wife put it down. She says hi, by the way. It says Story Time with Uncle Tracy. That's the name of the event.
And that is a good
Oh,
event.
yeah. There's on the
So
picture.
we have. I'm okay with that, and I'm okay with that. I used to tell people ask me about what fame was like, that there are entire provinces in China who have never heard my name, and I'm okay with that. I think that fame is not important. What is important is family. And the family that I have here is what's important. The people who have connected with Dragonlance and the stories over the years is what is important. They are the ones who have kept this alive. They are the ones who have read the books. I'm sure I've said this before, but the written word is really low density information. The sights and the sounds and the smells and the experience and the meaning of the text is all found in the white space between the words, and all of that is provided by the reader. When people come up to me at conventions like this and they want to tell me about my book, they're telling me about their performance of my book, which is unique to them. And that's wonderful. Because we write these words and they go out and hopefully they inspire something in enough in people that they become part of the creation. So the people I get to meet this week in Homecoming are dear family and friends. Margaret and I wrote this series, we wrote this new series for our fans because we wanted to take this journey with them again. We'll talk about it a little bit tomorrow. When we started writing this, we had no idea if any of them were out there.
No.
Oh, we're out there.
You're out there today, and we love and appreciate all of you. It's led to an extraordinary life for which we're very grateful. And maybe that's part of what we celebrate while we're here.
So you were mentioning how there was a young lady next to you on the plane that didn't know your name. Do you think the changing of D&D is erasing some of that? Do you think that they're not giving credit to some of the founders in the new material? Is that why? Or is it just that there's so much out there?
There is a lot that's out there, and I think people will always remember Gary. And truthfully, the greatest thing for me is that Gary came to my killer breakfast, and I think and he was gone the next spring. But I get to remember him sitting at my table. I get to remember him playing my game, and I get to remember him laughing and singing along with our dumb songs and jokes. I get to remember him telling me what a great time he had at my game, and could he please come next year. That's how I get to remember Gary. I think Gary will be remembered. Whether Weiss and Hickman are remembered, there are 4 as far as I know, there are 4 lifetime guests of honor at GenCon. Gary Gygax, who's gone. Dave Arneson, who's gone. Me, still here.
Yay.
And Margaret. We're not listed in the program book. As far as I know, none of the lifetime guests of honor are listed this year in the book. I don't know if it matters. Who will remember us are the people who took the journey with us. Who will remember us are the people who read those books and brought them to life. And I am really good with that.
I actually have a question then about the book, the new book specifically.
Sure.
Two.
I have to leave pretty quick because
I
my wife
understand.
probably ordered me dinner, and that's, yeah.
Hopefully they're quick. One should be quick.
Yes, okay.
Are there any familiar characters in it? I don't want any spoilers. Just are there any familiar characters in it from your other works?
There are
Awesome.
quite a number of them,
Awesome.
actually. And there are new characters in this book that we love very dearly. The main character in this book is a new character that we follow through this journey, and she is fabulous
Cool.
as a character. She is fabulous. One of the things we were very cognizant of when we wrote these books is that we wanted it to touch on the past, have very firm footing in the past and in the present, in the old and in the new. And I couldn't be happier with how this worked out. All 3 books are finished.
Awesome.
The manuscripts for all 3 books are done. We know where it's going. I'm not going to tell you, but we know where it's going.
That's exciting though.
Yes, it
We're
is.
excited. And then and this is a person who I've been playing a D&D a long time, but 5e hasn't been my bag yet. Does this then preclude, as a Dungeons and Dragons novel from Dragonlance, a Dungeons and Dragons setting coming out for 5e? And maybe this is something everyone else already knows and I don't know, but
I don't actually have anything to do with it.
I can tell you that the Kinder has been released as a playable class through D&D Beyond or the Expanded Arcana or something along those lines.
okay.
But other than that, I've not heard anything official. But
Well, there are dragons as well in
That's
Dungeons
true.
and Dragons
What?
too.
Yeah,
so
yeah. I mean, right, but
that does help.
And a lance.
And a lance.
And a lance.
You can't
Very,
use
let's
a
not
lance.
forget the lance.
but Ansalon and the Towers of High Sorcery and the Knights of Solamnia and anything like that.
What I can't say, I mean, I don't know what Wizards' plans are for all of this, and you know, and truthfully, nobody's talked to me about it. So,
They should.
Okay.
but I can tell you that when we wrote these, at least when I did the design work on these books, I did them specifically because I thought that they would make a fabulous setting. So whether Wizards does it or not, somebody out there, I think, should do something with that.
They can use World
Agreed.
Anvil. They can.
They could use World Anvil.
Agreed.
Yeah.
It is a wonderful setting, truly.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm very excited for people to read the book and discover again the world that they love.
Well, to put at ease some of the things that you said about fame and being remembered, I will tell you that my 12-year-old daughter is now dungeon mastering, and her first game was set in Ravenloft.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And she knows your name, and she is sad that she had to go to bed and couldn't be here tonight.
Oh. Well,
She
tell
kept
her that I
begging.
say hello and that we should do something Ravenlofty for her at some point. Well, I must go. I have an early morning tomorrow with hopefully about 500 people who
There
want
we
the
go.
book.
There we go.
well, Don, what you got? Close us
Well,
out.
yeah, absolutely. So, first of all, I think we all, but since I'm talking, I'll just say for me, I want to thank you for being here. We all want to thank you so much.
Thank
I want to thank you for being patient
Absolutely,
with me.
No, that's no
absolutely. I know we'll definitely make an effort to come and see you at your booth this weekend and just spend time hanging out and catching up and stuff
We'll
like
have
that.
some breakfast with you.
That's right.
Awesome.
That's
Oh,
right.
awesome. Yes,
Yeah.
please.
All right. So on our last episode 229, which I believe was our Fear the Con episode, right? With Josh and Lance and some other friends of ours. We had 3 established facts, so Josh put me to work to
Sorry.
try and get all these. That's okay. So from Adam, our friend Adam, we have names. Is our first fact.
It's funny because we didn't say ours today.
Right, which is
Good. It's
ironic.
okay.
It is
It's a fame
ironic.
thing. Who
We
cares?
do have them.
We do.
We do.
If you haven't,
I said mine.
right, exactly, twice. And then from Lance, we have. Let's see. The Cat in the Hat is your dungeon master.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Go back and listen to 229. I'm sure it's explained in that.
Yeah.
And then from Josh, who decided to write a limerick. Thank you, sir.
Well, I wrote a poem.
A poem, right. I'll try and read my own chicken scratch. It says, whatever you read or whatever you see, your favorite book may be just what you need. There we go. Open your mind and be ready to see. Your book may be the next great RPG. All right, so I feel like that is very
Apropos.
fitting
It's
for
good,
our conversation today as well. And our new fact for episode 230, our story time with Uncle Tracy. Who needs dice and numbers when imagination is all you need? And who needs sleep when all you need is Uncle Tracy? We want to thank you all for joining us on episode 230 of the Established Facts. We want to thank Tracy and can't wait to hang out with him this weekend. If you are not at GenCon, get here. Come and hang out with us. Come and hang out with Tracy.
But if you do come to Gen Con, you are going to have to stand in line and get your vax
That's
thing
right.
taken care
That's right.
of.
So get in line at Denver, and you'll be here
You'll
in
be
3
here
days.
in 3 days.
We love you guys, and we will check you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Deuces.